myself and maybe someone made supervisor, always it should be one page. I try as much as possible. My resumes are always a single page. As soon as you see that your resume is 2 pages, or that probably it's not tailored to the job, you are just bringing a lot of information probably not necessary to the job. So just make sure it's just 1 page. 2 pages are for people who are like experts. They have a lot of experience in that industry. Okay. There isn't much time to read these, so 1 page is better. Okay. Now, a curriculum vitae can be multiple pages, often 2 to 3 or more. I think maximum is around 14 pages. Why? Then let's talk about the content focus. Skills, that's resume, work experience, education, and relevant achievement, all tailored to that specific job you're applying for. If you're applying for a job of a customer service agent.
Where is it? Where is it? How come I see don't have it?
Tailored to that.
This plan.
See if I can read this person. Okay. All right. Complete history, curriculum vitae, everything, every work experience you have. So if you have like 5, 8 experiences or 10, 12, put everything there. That's the job of a curriculum vitae. So including education, academic achievement, publications, and more. Okay. And this is where people get it wrong sometimes. I see people, and even these people, they're writing a resume, but I see them putting, including their date of birth, their religion, their what? Things like that. I think I wrote some here. Their pictures, even for the resume, people put their pictures and sex. These things are not necessary. In fact, you would be rather helping someone find reasons to disqualify you. Now, one rule in the hiring industry across the world is that
what do you mean? I'm good.
No one should hire. Please mute.
Yes. All right.
Please mute. Flavia, please mute. All right. So one rule is that no employer can hire someone based on their age or gender. It's illegal. Okay. And even maybe color, background, race. That's why you shouldn't also put your picture on your resume. Now, sometimes people want to hire people within certain specific age category, but the only thing they can do is they can say you should have 5 years experience or 10 years experience. They know, okay, if you're 18, or we need someone that's, let's say, 30 years old and above, they know 18 to 30, how many years? Maybe, let's say they should have like 7 years or 8 years experience. That's the only thing you can do, but it can't be specific about the age. It's illegal. Sometimes you see it, you see we want to hire only females or want to hire people between these ages of, it's illegal, but in Africa, we see that all the time. So don't give people reason to use that against you. Okay, remove all that from your resume or your CV. So yeah, let's go ahead. Where is resume typically used? Generally around the world, but in particularly in the United States and Canada. But interestingly, all of you want remote jobs, and most of our remote jobs now come from these places. And so you don't need to use curriculum vitae, really. In fact, it's now outdated. It's typically, do you know what is used in place of a curriculum vitae these days? Can anyone say it? Something digital that's now used in place of a curriculum vitae.
Your LinkedIn profile.
Exactly, brother. Your LinkedIn profile.
LinkedIn profile.
Exactly, Chris. It tells us everything about your background. Everything. So a LinkedIn profile shouldn't be just for a few things. Everything. So it's enough. That's why in your resume too, you put a link for your LinkedIn profile, your curriculum vitae. So it's very important to keep your resume short. If you have a lot of other information, just know that they might check your LinkedIn profile. So make sure they are on your LinkedIn profile and keep your resume short. Okay. Now, let's go to customization. As a resume is always supposed to be tailored to each and every job you apply for. Most of you, because I don't know, you want it quick, let's take the same resume and you take it to apply for every job. Sometimes when there's a job opportunity and when they saw it, they said, maybe see my resume, and they just send my resume in fact, if it's even within the next 30 minutes of you saying you are working on your resume and you send it to me, in my mind, I'm like, you probably didn't do a good job. And it's like always true, 100% true. When you review your resume and you use 30 minutes or less, I'll say 99% accurate, you didn't do a good job on it. Okay. It should be tailored to the job. You should customize it. Every specific job, and we'll go into details. And then, of course, curriculum vitae is just general. We post it everywhere. So really, what you people should be saying is that my resume, this is my resume. Yeah, let's use that term more because mostly that's what you'll be using. Okay. Types of resume. Now let's go into details. The types of resume we have. I have someone trying to decorate my screen a little bit. That's fine. So types of resume. Now we have all these types of resumes: chronological, targeted, functional, combination, and inventory. Chronological is the one we typically use, shows progress. From the lowest experience you have to the highest. Usually you bring the most recent experience first. That's what we typically mostly use. Please, whoever is doing that on the screen, I can see it and all of us can see it. So maybe just avoid that or delete that if possible. I don't know if there's a way to show me. Okay. Then we have the targeted, that specific job you're applying for. So it only show skills related to that job and nothing else. In skills and experience. Functional, just the skill. You focus on the skills you have. You don't focus necessarily on the job where I've worked here, but skill. And usually that's demanded in maybe industry, maybe mechanical engineering, things like that. There's a combination in the inventory. But today we are going to focus on the chronological resume. Okay. Now, we are going to discuss the main parts of resumes. Mostly, people, before I go into detail, people use templates that are really, really interesting. And we want our easy way out. I see this all the time. They go on Google search resume templates. Wrong. Almost every resume template I see online is the worst. Please don't avoid shady colors and the edited design and picture here. Please, it should be as plain as what you see here. The ones with the designs and those things, usually it's required of only graphic designers to showcase their graphic designing skills. Okay, but aside that, please, you want plain. There's something like this. And those of you who are BYU pathway students, use the template. Anytime a BYU pathway student sends me their resume and they go and find these online resumes, I get annoyed, honestly. In PC 102, they taught you that they gave you a resume template. We are using this and we want you to use it in your life or even the skills you learn. Sometimes like they train you, you just do it for the assignment and then you go away. Please, I still have my PC 102 resume, a template. I kept using that until I started the degree and I did career development course and they gave me a new template, which is this template you're seeing here. And it gives you guidelines on how to craft your resume. I always go back to this type of template, very concise. So please, let's avoid those online funny resumes, okay? All right. So let's talk about the first thing, so header. Of course, as you can see, includes your name. Oftentimes, you make your name the biggest. This is easy because I use the template from the course. So if you use the same template, after this, I may send the template also to Michael. He can send it to your group and any other links that I'll share with you in this session. Your address, which is not really necessary these days, especially for an online job. The phone number, always add the country code. In fact, so many people do that and they don't get the job. Those of you who are applying for GMS jobs, indexing, and those things, sometimes your email address is wrong. You don't even pay attention to make sure you put the email address correctly. And when they want to contact you on WhatsApp, which is usually the primary method for GMS, you don't have your WhatsApp number. How in the world can they, you don't have the plus, the country code. The recruiter doesn't have time to now go and type the country code. So a general rule of thumb for myself, anytime I'm filling any form, even if it's for a local form in my country, Ghana, I'll still add my country code because you don't know where it will go. And if you do that all the time, it will always be in your head. And it's better that like that. It's safer like that, always to add than to ignore. Okay, so some of you have applied for these jobs, and this is the reason that you might have not been contacted. So those who have applied for the work study job, this is by the way, you can go to the portal student chatbot and go to my work study profile and check these things to see if they're updated. Okay. Make sure you include your LinkedIn profile link. Now it's very, very important. Some of you, I see, some of you use this very template that I'm sharing with you. But I always see that when it comes to a LinkedIn session, some people delete the session, because they don't want to put their LinkedIn profile. Why? Two main reasons. They are not, maybe they've not created a LinkedIn profile, but most people have because we are a party, have to create one. It was also optional anyway. But two, mainly because they are not impressed of how their LinkedIn profile is. But do you know something? Surprisingly, about 67% or I think 70% of recruiters always check to see their candidates on social media, and mostly on LinkedIn, about 70%. And if they don't find you, most of them are actually unlikely to hire you. Just think about it. About 80%, 70 to 80% check you online. And if they actually check Facebook, especially high profile jobs, because they want to see who you really are. They check there, they check LinkedIn too. But you see, like your name, most of you have names that are hard to find a specific person. But if you put your profile there, it's easy for them to find you. And so if it's easy for me to find you, then you have a higher chance of getting the job. I feel we are more credible, and whatever is on LinkedIn profile is probably more true than what you're writing to me, because your colleagues see that, and if it's wrong, they will say it. So yeah, that's just by the way. So please, let's always improve our LinkedIn profile. We have the professional summary. Now, this portion, it's optional. Recruiters always want to see the points first and not the summary. But if you want, I'll show you example, like the template I showed you here, it doesn't have summary portion yet. But the BI pathway template, for example, the PC10, this is degree template. The PC102 template includes that. And sometimes you include summary when you don't have a lot of experience, right? So you want to fill your resume as much as possible. So you can include that. But if you have a lot of experiences, that may take all the space around there, you would just ignore it. But yeah, basically it should be just 3 to 4 sentences. And it should highlight concrete skills and experiences by trying to keep it, trying it to focus by tying it to focus accomplishments. So as you can see here, Now, this part also, when you're doing your resume, one way to make sure it's correct is have your resume here. There was something I had to do, but because of time, I didn't do it. You should always have your resume here and the job description here. The job you're applying for, the description should be here. The resume should be here. Make sure the things you say align. You don't just write your experience and everything. Make sure they align. So, for example, in this chef example, maybe they are asking him to, in the job description, says someone who loves food, who has a passion for helping people, and they want someone who has about at least 5 years experience. That may be the job description. Now, from what I told you, if you look at the example, it has all these things inside. Quickly, you see that the person notes that they love food, they have passion for helping people, and they have like 5 years experience. So all these are there. So you bring those first, okay, to capture whoever is hiring his attention. Now let's go to the work experience. Godwin, did you have a question? But I want to really leave the questions at the end. Okay, you have some time to ask and answer questions. I'm putting your notes. All right.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So now the work experience, I love this template because it makes it very, very simple and easy. Some people only, and we see the example, but some people typically just put, and this, when we were doing the LinkedIn webinar last week, I told you, you have to put what you call power statements. You don't just list your responsibilities. Many resumes, that's the biggest mistakes in resumes, and it reflects to LinkedIn profile as well. They just put their responsibilities, and when they put their position, organization, I did this, I did that, I did this, I did that. No one is interested in that. If I'm going to hire you as a career coach, but they are talking about your responsibilities as a mentor, I don't care so much about that because our responsibility now, if I hire you, will be different. What I'm more interested in is how you perform the responsibility well, the results or accomplishments. Okay, that's why you write what is called accomplishment or power statement. How do you write that? You put the action verb first. We show you an example, which action verbs like led, created, a verb, action, verb. Created, led, organized, built. You should always come first. That's what catches their attention. The key is always bring the main points first before whatever. So, and then what did you do? You now put the responsibility there or what you had to do, and then why or how or the result. Okay, that should always be the last part. Why you did that, how, or the result. And when I'm going to hire you, really, I'm looking at the result. If you said, okay, as a customer service agent, I always had to answer customer calls or customer complaints. You just put them. Okay. But if you put there, if you continue and say, how I talk to them so nicely and calmly, and then as a result of that, we retained 99.9% of our customers. Now I'm like, wow, okay. When I hire you, you are going to bring that same result in my company. So really, what you should be focused on your resumes are your accomplishments or results and not just the responsibility. So that's one key thing. Make sure you list, use bullet points and make sure you list 3 to 4 of them. Okay. Now, which is better from what you've learned today? And maybe you can tell me why. So let's take turns. Let's a few people can engage here. Anyone who wants to talk, you can raise your hand and just talk. Okay, Chris, please. And then Edith.
Yes, yeah, sure. So obviously the second one is much better because looking at the bullet points, it tells us the achievements of the person as a career a career coach, what he was able to do. You get it? So I feel that one would be much considered than the first one, which is just listing out the responsibilities of the person.
Okay. One.
Yeah.
Can you point one accomplishment or one result? Just read one line.
Okay. Trying to zoom
Just
it.
so
Very
we
well,
all
so.
idea.
All right. So
I'm sorry. Okay. Go ahead.
All right. So over here, I'm reading from the position of global managed services. That is
Services.
the
Okay.
yes. Bullet point one is created a worldwide minimum wage database, which ensures that all Bloom hires are not paid below the minimum wage of their country, eliminating compliance around that topic.
Yeah, complete. So I need only the results. So the next person, if you talk about anything, also just read the results. Because the responsibility, everyone knows about that. So thank you. Just for us to be short, only the result.
Okay.
The next person, go ahead. Blessed.
Okay, so I'm reading from the part of the mentor and under Bloom.
Okay.
So the results here, I'm reading the second bullet point, and the result here is improving the way existing features looked and how future features are designed.
Exactly. So when I'm going to hire you, what do I think? You can bring this same result to my company, maybe help improve a new portal we are building or something. Okay. Do you have any other thing you want to? Okay. Well, you know that that's the best one, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So you answered that. Next person, also tell us if the first one is right, then you tell us the accomplishments there if you saw it there. But if the second one, you also point it. Okay. ADA, please. And then you go to Lazarus and then Jennifer.
Okay, is Ada, not ADA.
Okay,
Thank you,
sorry,
sir.
because it was all capital. So.
Okay, it's all right. I prefer the second one because here, especially on the career coach, based on the experience here, you said you managed a couple of BYU Pathway job alerts, WhatsApp groups with hundreds of students for job opportunities as Talent Connect is being developed. Now here, it's proving that truly this is what you managed as your experience and the results whereby you are hired by Bloom. You served over 100 students per semester, which means you really, really had this experience. And then this was the result. By serving 100 students per semester, helping them resolve concerns, and by offering inspirational and motivation to the students. Thank you.
Thank you, Lazarus.
Yes, I'm of the same opinion that the second example is better because if you check, it is more detailed. Yes, both of them are using action words like organized and created, but the second one went down to the thing that I accomplished at the end of the day, which the recruiter will say, okay, if you can accomplish this, you can do better with me. Thank you.
Great. I like that you recognize something good at the other side too. And that's something I wanted to point out. Yeah.
Sorry, I think something that we should all note is more about how fast your maybe the
I didn't hear that.
that people do not have time to actually just read word for word. They have a lot of resumes to look at. Just go directly to the point. I think I'll go with the first one. If you ask me, that's my opinion there.
Yeah. So I get that point. So what's yes,
so
but what I'm trying to say, I guess, is it should be like the first one is the best, or what do you mean? Please elaborate.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I think the first one is easy and not complicated. People can just get the point and they don't have to read line for line everything. That's my opinion though.
Okay, well, understood. It's good to share that opinion as well. Just okay. just to come in, I don't know, maybe I'll give 1 or 2 people a chance to, but yeah, great. That's a good point as well. If you look at the 2, actually, the one that's easy to read on the eye is definitely the first one, 100%. Okay, there's a lot of spacing, which is one thing that we should also consider when the spacing is really opened. But really, if the first one had accomplishments or results, then that would be it. But it has no result. It's just so you have to find a balance. That's what I'm saying. You have to find a balance. But really, if it depends on the kind of role you're also going to apply for example. If the role isn't too big of a role and you're saying a lot of things and they have thousands of people to interview, but if it's really a role that requires a few people, you're very competitive, you'll have time to really look into it. And yeah, so yeah, there should be a balance. Good catch, Jennifer. But there should be a balance. Okay, last, maybe, I don't know. Let me take Joanna and Veronica, and then
Okay,
Joanna.
this is Veronica.
Okay, Veronica, go ahead.
Okay,
I
hello.
feel the
Oh, sorry.
okay for the I would prefer the second one because looking at the second one, it tells you better. Like it's talking more about what you've achieved and what the employers tends to gain when they employ you. But the first one is just looking at bullet points, and those bullet points can be said by anybody that can just, okay, I can do this, I can do this. But the second one is bringing out, okay, these are things I've achieved and this is what I'm going to do if I come into your company. Thank you.
Great. Okay, Jennifer last, and then move on.
Okay, so this is Joanna. Sorry for earlier. So I wanted to just point out something based on what the previous person talked about, when she talked about choosing the other one over this because of the spacings in between. So I feel the second one is better off with the fact that the achievements are highlighted. But I also think maybe we can reduce the amount of bullet points we are adding there, so that it will the resume will not be jam-packed, because right now it's looking jam-packed, and somebody like me, I'll be too tired to want to read it because it's just looking so many things going on. So maybe just highlighting 3 of the most important points there would make the resume less clustered, and also the achievements will also be highlighted. I think that's where the other person is also coming from, and I agree with her on that.
Yeah, great. That's also true. So yeah, again, okay, it's okay because of time. I can't answer I can't give you the other people. Maybe have other activities as well. Great. So there is that as well. We can always find a balance between the 2. Now also depends. For example, usually you have you should put about 3 experiences. So if you have more experiences too, you can say, okay, let me put a few and spread it out. If I have just 2, let me maximize it. Okay, so always to find a balance as well. But what the points you made are great as well. Okay, great. I'm glad you all found good parts and good parts in both and bad parts in both. Great. So now I know you guys are learning. Great. Now, one thing also, some people, when they especially, okay, not this part, so when you get there. Okay, now education. So again, list the highest level of education first, including the name of the school. This is easy. The other part is some people don't include some education if they are not yet done. So for example, if they are still taking a Skep class, they will not include that because they want to finish first. Same with their LinkedIn, they want to finish first, but always you can put anticipated graduation and put just A and T, put the date there. The company knows you're still learning and you've learned some already. getting close to that, so you can always do that. If you have a GPA, if you have more education than experience, you can actually bring the education first. There's this assumption. Usually experience comes before education. But if you have more education and you can talk more about it than experience, you bring education first, you touch education here after the summary or whatever. And then when you put the education here, the school here and everything, you now put bullet points, usually detailed bullet points using this same strategy, using the same action verbs. Okay, what did you do in the school? I created or I led a team with the project work or whatever. I did this, we did that. You just kind of follow this same process and you highlight the education where maybe it's really relevant to the job and you bring that one up. You want whatever is more relevant up and the ones that are less relevant down, okay? So you can also do that. And in that case, the experience, that means you don't have to write anything here. You only do it bullet points like the education now. I don't know if that makes sense. So if you choose to highlight your education and tell us using action verbs and everything, then the experience is just bullet point. Okay, I want to, this is my role, this is the institution from here to here, that's all. You don't give details again, else it'll be more than 1 page or 2 pages or whatever. So it's up to you. Okay, really. Okay, next is volunteer experience. Now, especially if you don't have much work experience, you have to always look at volunteer experience. In fact, 80% of recruiters value volunteer experience as work experience, about 80%. So if you don't have any work experience, or if you have least, use this to showcase what you're capable of or what you do. So, and even some people only, once you indicate that you have volunteer experience, there's a 50% chance you can get the job, just alone, because the person knows you have that passion for serving people and things like that. So if there's space in your resume, only if there's space, you can highlight volunteer experience as well. Again, we use the same formula. Create accomplishment or past statements begin with an action verb, strong verbs. What you did, reason, outcome, and then result. So like something like this. You know, you do things, you just put it there and you move on. So this is also one thing that you have to always try to seize the opportunity. And I have one tip I tell people. Sometimes I don't have work experience, I need a job first, I tell people, look, there are always opportunities for us to serve. Search, don't wait for people to ask you, go for it, look at a situation, a problem, a skill you have that you can help someone with. I think I told you an example last week when we were doing the LinkedIn, you know, of how, and some of you, I don't know, some of you might have seen my story and how I created a WhatsApp group personally, and I kept building it, helping students around the world, and eventually in 3 years, I had helped over 3,000 BI Pathway students, just helping them before the mentoring program came, okay? Just created WhatsApp group, helping with tips, doing videos, of how this, like PC 101, how to, especially people with phone, because I started BI Pathway with just my phone and it was really hard. And so I gathered some experience and I wanted to help people. And so I just did that, opened up a lot of people, saw it valuable, identified the problem, served voluntarily with solutions, gained experience in that regard. That time peer mentoring wasn't there, so it was really hard for students to find their way around. Every week I did videos, how to use this, how to submit, how to look at the rubrics, and things like that. Now it's something that is part of my volunteer experience, and almost every documentary BI pathway does. They call me, they email me, they want me to be in that documentary because of what I did. And that also opened an opportunity where when the peer mentoring program came out, because I had volunteered just serving, I was recommended as someone who could help pilot the peer mentoring program. So I was part of the first to pilot that program and help it come out for everyone to have that experience. Up to now, I don't even know who recommended me, but people were seeing my work, and I was recognized for it. So yeah, so always look for problems, try to find solutions. Like I told some of you, I also LinkedIn, I saw a problem with this company. I just said, hey, I can help you, da, 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 da. And they asked me to join the organization. Now I'm the country director. So please always look for problems and just solve willingly, or create an opportunity to serve. So when you don't get an opportunity, you create. Like I created my own WhatsApp group or whatever. So please, there's always opportunities for us to serve. I'll come to Jennifer. Please, we reserve that for the end. I have barely 15 minutes more. So skills. Usually you would have the option to include skills. Now the skill, this is the part where most important, you should also look at the job description if there is. Now sometimes the job description, first of all, it tells you the responsibility, the educational requirement, and the skills needed. So this skills session, you would want to put as many of those skills there as possible, usually 4 to 6 or 8 maximum there. Use them because this is the reason. Some of you would say you don't have skills. Yeah, you look at gifts or from school and things like that. Read your patriarchal blessing, you may see something there. The reason you have to include skills in the job description, in fact, everything in the resume should come, keywords should come from the job description. Here's why. There's this thing called ATS. I don't know if anyone knows the full meaning here. You can just say it out loud if you know. Related to career and job search. Okay. So
Application
ATS
tracking
stands for,
system.
exactly, applicants tracking system. It's a software built by many companies to automatically screen candidates. So nowadays, not even human beings screen people for jobs. And the Bloom website, there are a lot of people that apply every day. You think they have time to screen all of you? You see, sometimes you apply not too long, you get a message saying, we are sorry, yada, yada, yada. Sometimes just basic AI. It's an applicant tracking system that filters the resume and brings only the relevant ones to the employer to then go through a few of them. And so you use it, it's an AI, you set the parameters, you say, okay, I need resumes which have these things from my job description. I said someone who is loving, someone who has Microsoft Office experience, someone who has data analysis experience, someone who has high integrity, someone who is able to collaborate using GitHub and whatever. I place them there. In my description, everything we talked about earlier, in the summary, in even the achievements, you put them, these keywords there, because that's the parameters they are going to give to the AI. And then it scans, it looks for it, and it pushes and the rest, because you just took your old resume and you brought it there and didn't tailor it to the job. You apply for jobs and you never get a job because of that. Sometimes not even human beings that reject you, a common machine designed by a human being rejects you. So let's always, everything, whenever you're applying for a job, ask whoever gave you a referral link, is there a job description? If there isn't, like Bloom's website, mostly there isn't. Mostly you go and search on the internet, some job descriptions for this similar role. You get the key things, you splash it in there. Okay? All right. Now, because the recruiters have an AI module to eliminate candidates. Other companies have also created AI models to help compete the AI. It's interesting dynamic here. And we have this free tool called VMock. It's an AI tool designed by VMock, but given freely to BYU Pathway students. When I say BYU Pathway, I mean Pathway Connect and BYI Online and Inzine College students for free to help craft their resumes. And AI will help you because it knows how the AI thinks and to battle that other AI. So yeah, it's kind of a good dynamic. Just like how ChatGPT came now, you know that now some schools have designed their own AI to catch people who submit assignments using AI. So it's kind of the same. All right, so what is VMock? Like I said, it's an AI resume and career development tool that is used to help students identify important criteria to customize, build, and improve their resume that is specific to their individual strengths and needs. So it's crazy. Everything I've talked about, you do your part. I've typically not used this before, but I help students do that all the time. I used just recently, but because I have enhanced my skill, it didn't give me much things to work on. But usually try your best to do your part, like what you've learned. That's how it sticks into your head. And then you go to this guy. But sometimes this guy can also be wrong. All right. So it actually has the AI feature. Resume also has a way to help you prepare for interviews. You know, trains you how to prepare for interview, how to do me in 30 seconds. They're all there for free to students. How do you access that? You can access it through your BYU Pathway portal under resources, as you can see on the right side of the screen. You can directly access it through these links I shared here. If you're a Pathway Connect students, the ones that are doing PC 101 to PC 103, after you type vmock.com/BYU Pathway. If you are BYI online student, you do the same thing at the end BYI. Inzine College, you do suit. I'll send all these links to Michael, who can share it with you in your various WhatsApp groups. But you can always access it in the resources center if you're a Pathway student. If you are not, rather unfortunate, but you can always access it. There are other free tools on the internet. Just make sure. And you can also use what you learned today. And also friends that you want them to help you review your resume and things like that. From where I said there's a lot of pressure on me right now, so I avoid doing that on a personal level most times. That's why I love an opportunity like this to help a lot of people at once. So once in a while, I try to do that. Yeah. Anyway. Okay, so Q&A. Yeah, here, my friends. We have about 9 minutes for Q&A. Joanna, your hand has been up for a while. I don't know if you have any question. If you have, if not, we have Stephanie and Gordon.
Okay, so can I ask a question, please?
Please.
Hello.
But
okay.
Your hand wasn't
you talked
up.
About,
let's follow.
About
let's follow the order I gave, please. Just sorry about that. It seems Joanna didn't have a question, so let's go with Stephanie, Godwin, and then you come in.
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much for the opportunity. I want to find out, can we also put the volunteer experience at where the experiences are? For example, you don't have much experience and then all the experiences you had were voluntary. Can you put that as experience, or you have to categorically state it as a volunteer experience? Thank
Good
you.
question. Some would suggest you do that. I would say it's a personal decision. It's a personal decision. Why? And I'll tell you both how recruiters may see both. If you only have volunteer experience, sometimes people are empathetic, and it's really related to the job in a way, or even if it's not, you find a way to tie it to the job. Recruiters are usually excited about candidates like that because, like, maybe teacher, they are looking for a teacher, not necessarily a teacher with a degree, but or even a teacher with a degree, right? You have the degree in teaching, whatever, teacher qualification, but you don't have any actual work experience. You only have teaching volunteer for maybe 10 years as a child, you started, and you just indicate that volunteer for this years and this organization. I'll be very happy to hire you. Why? One, I know that although you are not doing paid job, you've been doing this for a long time. I know you're excited about that. And sometimes we feel empathy for you. We feel sympathy for you. Okay, because, and yeah, sometimes too, maybe we feel unless it's not too relevant to the job, but if it is, usually when you categorize that emphatically, it's really recognized. About 80% anyway value it as work experience. But really, I'll say it's a personal decision, but you decide. I mean, I've told you how they may see, but some people too may think maybe they don't really have relevant work experience. So, so maybe you do it you tailor it as a work experience. But really, it's up to you. That's all I'll say. Okay, so Godwin.
Okay. Thank you very much for the opportunity. So actually, after COVID, as we know, the remote world has been expanding, and then most of the companies, just such as GMS, Bloom, Contractor, and the Co, they don't usually, post job updates that you see and then you apply for. So in a system like that, how will you tailor your resume or your CV to a specific job that you want to get?
Good question. I think I somehow addressed that. So what you do is that, if you remember, you go to the internet and you search for, if you are applying for a customer service role, similar job descriptions, and you maybe look at 2 or 3 things that are common in all of them. You pick one and you tailor it to that one. Just for they probably also use an applicant tracking system, and so they would use specific parameters, but unfortunately, you don't know what they really are. And so you use the internet, find similar words, and just try. If you try with this and you're not right, you try with that one too. So unfortunately, that's how they do their thing. They don't market, advertise, but that's the strategy you can use. Okay, now Jennifer, we can go back to you, and then we go to Godwin, Ezekiel, and
okay. My question is it possible to use the church callings that we've previously held as part of our volunteer services or jobs?
Correct, you can. Also, again, find a way to tie it to the job. Some people use missionary a lot, which is almost every church member, and male, especially the males. But if you do, try to use terms that are not jargons, or terms that are not only used only familiar in your church, or only mostly used in the church. Try to find a way to tailor. Some people I see, they use minister, especially those in the Southern Africa area. I see people on their LinkedIn profile always using like a minister or a service volunteer. There's a word they use, I don't quite remember. You know, knows that term they can put in. And then you elaborate, maybe You find key things you did that are relevant to the job. We need someone who has good problem-solving skills. You put a point, help solve issues between other co-workers or co-volunteers who came from different countries around the world, but maybe with my cultural understanding, whatever, I was able to resolve these and yeah. Okay, yeah, but yeah, you can do that. Just find a way to tailor it to the job. Ezekiel. Ezekiel. So we move to James.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Ezekiel.
my question is, sometimes the experience is more than what the page can carry. So because of that, the size of the page gets to 2. So I want to know what's best to do at that point, because most times I would really prefer it to be 1 page, but due to the experience and the experience level, I want to know what to do in that kind of situation.
Okay, couple of things. Remove some things that are really not relevant. For example, summary. That's why I showed you there are 2 resume types. One usually has summary and skills. My resume currently, I don't have the skills section. I don't use it. Make sure the key features are all in the resume itself. I don't use the summary for now. Sometimes they have hobbies and I don't have those things. So after removing all that and you still think there isn't enough, sometimes the spacing of not the point, but then maybe after experience, sometimes there's some spacing there, reduce it a bit. If not, just make sure it's concise, 2 or 3. Make sure the most relevant, right? And make sure your LinkedIn profile is up there. Most likely to always check your LinkedIn profile for the rest. So bring the most relevant first and make sure your LinkedIn profile is up there. And make sure it reflects there too as well. Yeah, James. And then God's will. James. Maybe go to God's will.
Yeah, I wanted to ask the question that he just asked. So we can move on.
Okay. All right. James, I think you wanted to say something.
Okay, yeah. I want to ask. You have mentioned that recruiters, which is very true, usually find us on LinkedIn. Like the applicants, they used to go to a social media page, especially the LinkedIn, to look at other maybe achievements and other things that we've not mentioned in our resume. So I want to find out what else they look out for, like in terms of activity, like how active one can be on the page. For instance, there are people like that will not for straight 6 months, will not post anything, will not join in any conversation. They are just there. So do they consider those aspects too?
I'll say yes, and yes and no. And the reason is so mostly when it comes to activity aspect, it depends on the kind of role you are going to apply for. Okay, like your engagement. If you're applying for a social media marketer, or if you are doing social media marketing, or just normal marketing or customer service, I expect someone who is outgoing. If I identify you have that skill, it'll be much easier for you to work in that department. So I'll look at that. Are you engaged on LinkedIn? If you are really active, if you like social media, for example, generally most people who are really active on social media are extrovert, and they could be good marketers, good salesperson, good customer service agents. So sometimes they look at that. Other things too they may look at on your LinkedIn profile just generally is your attention to detail. kind of things, the kind of your summary there. Some people don't have summary at all. But someone's summary, the spelling is so wrong. The I, even yourself, the I is small I. Some people's name is all small letters. Like, this person is not detail-oriented. I cannot work with you. Really, I can't. Those who know me know I'm very detail-oriented. And also, if what you write are usually too short, like your song you're about to just put a sentence or two, you know, that person doesn't have time. So your LinkedIn communicates a lot. You don't have time to even write. You are not someone who will give tasks that requires a lot of work or a lot of writing or things like that. So sometimes it may not be activity. Sometimes activity doesn't matter, but the kind of information you put there, how little there or how too much, and you don't also want too much, and how concise. Sometimes too much, but some people too use AI too much. I can easily see when your profile there's AI only there. I can see it. Mostly it comes with the AI when it asks you to do it, it comes with stickers, and people just copy everything, put the stickers there. And even if there's no sticker, I know Nigerian English, I know Ghanaian English, and sometimes it's too English, you know. Anyway, yeah, next person, I don't know, James, was it James that asked that? Yeah, James did. So administrator.
Thank you so much. It has really helped.
You're welcome. Administrator, and then we come to Junido. Sorry for butchering your name, administrator, please. Administrator. Okay, maybe let's go to the next person. Junido, something like that. Sorry, I'm butchering your name. Kalonji. Kalonji. Please go ahead. Yeah.
Yes, my question is that is it possible to accept a VMOC if we are not a pathway student, like we are at Bioyadao or Design College?
Is it available for you if you are not any of these students?
Can you say it again? I don't get you.
You're asking if you can access if you are not any of those students, right?
Oh no, if I'm at Design College,
yeah,
I already completed Pathway Connect courses.
Yeah, but okay, I don't know, but what I learned is I think recent graduates have access. I didn't see the comments, so now there's some comments as well. Let me see if I can. Yeah, only current enrolled. Yeah, currently enrolled actually. But if you are a graduate, you have, yes, now if you are a graduate, you have up to a year access. For example, they always refresh the key in January of the next year. So if you completed January this year or this semester or December, you still have access till the next year, January. Once that January comes, you wouldn't have access anymore. Okay, let me see in the chat if there's anything I can answer. Okay. The font size, the font size should usually be 12 to 14, usually between 11 and 12 for the normal words, and around 14, 15 for the headlines. And the name usually should be bigger, 15, and maybe bolded. So either that's for you. Can internship be recorded under volunteer experience? Internships, you can even just add that as an experience, work experience, okay? Just you put into brackets, when you put the title into bracket internship, okay? I don't think I have been in a Zoom meeting as informative as this, okay? Resume, like you said, and I was following along. I even saw that I spelled integrity only because you used it in the presentation. Yeah, by the way, I used your part there. Sorry, I didn't ask you, so it was a surprise. But the other one I used, I asked the person, by the way. It's too English. Yeah. Anyway, I think I've addressed all the questions, right? I don't think there are more questions here. So great. I hope we all learned enough. Sorry, last week I couldn't come quite on time. And so I couldn't cover as much things as I wanted, but today we had a solid 1 hour presentation. So yeah, thank you. And I think I'm going to leave the time to our dear Michael to take over.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Michael. Michael. Hello, Michael.
While we are waiting for him, may I ask one question?
Please.
All right. It's not really a question, it's a request. Is it possible to have access to the training material you used so that if we want to review, to refresh our understanding of the concepts and principles, we could do that?
Yeah, please. You can. Yeah. Actually, the Q&A, when they told me, hey, you have to start now, that's when I was typing the Q&A.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a quick
Thank
one.
you.
But
Thank
yeah,
you.
I'll go ahead and share that with you. Yeah, I'll send it to Michael and then he'll share it with you all. I don't know. I think that's all. Maybe Michael. Is there any questions?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Please.
Yes, I do have a question. Also, my question is based on I've been seeing some couple of people who have been posting their certificate on LinkedIn. So how important it is to post your certificate or to have it in your LinkedIn profile?
Is it, how what?
I've been seeing some couple of people who have been adding their certificate on their profile.
Yeah.
Yes, so I want to know how important it is. Is it necessary?
Yeah, well, we have, depends on where it depends on the type of certificate and if it aligns with your career. It's really important to let the recruiter know how authentic what you're seeing is. So sometimes it's good to showcase that. If you don't want to post it, some people put as a post or just update it on your profile. There is the awards and I think certificate license and certificate section. And just upload it there low key. When someone comes there, they'll see. It attests to it. There's also a link if it's a digital for maybe like Coursera courses. I believe there's a link to verify the authenticity. Or if there isn't a link, sometimes there's a ID. You see ID there, you copy the ID and you drop it. You see a section for ID, issue ID or something like that. It also adds to their credibility. So yeah, it's good, but not everyone wants to post it. So you can decide not to post it or post it. It's up to you. Yeah, Kingsley.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay. Good evening, sir. I just have a little question concern.
Please go ahead.
Okay, my first question is that how can I be able to get the template of the resume? So are you going to send it to our lead project manager to get to us?
Template of the resume. Okay, yeah, I'll do that. Yes, I'll do that. I'll send the template to him. I'll also send the presentation to him.
Okay, thank you so much. And another thing is that I'm done with BYU Pathway Connect, so I'm BYU Adao. How can I be able to get the VMOC to work on my resume?
And that's why I said, unfortunately, if you've left, if January has passed since, if at least one January has passed since you graduated, you don't have access. But if January hasn't passed yet since the last time you graduated, you can still have access. If not, you can use other free tools online. Yeah, unfortunately, that's the policy.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. I think that's it. I don't know, maybe he left the meeting for me to. Is there anyone else who was in charge of this meeting that I can hand it over to close? If not, I can just close us. There's someone?
Yeah, thank you, Charles. Thank you.
Okay, all right, Michael. All right, thanks.
Yeah, thank you for your training today. I'm so happy that we have large numbers of students who are here with us and who can benefit from this training. And I could tell you that if we can be able to put in those little principles, those little suggestions and skill dimensions, it will really help our resume and we'll be able to get at least job opportunity quickly. Because we discovered that most of our applications through the pre-internship, most of the resume, some are sending their resume, some are sending CV. There are a lot of things to work on. And that's why we are happy to have Charles here, who is a coach, a mentor as well, in PYU Pathway. So he have the experience and the knowledge and everything. So I'm happy you guys could be able to learn from him today. So thank you all. We'll still reach out to you guys next week. We'll be taking a look at another segment. I don't know yet, but then maybe we'll still talk to Charles we'll still tap from his experience. Yeah, I know he's happy to work with us, and I'm so sure. So we'll look out to next week and see what we could also come up with for you guys, but we'll still let you know through your lead project managers so that they can pass the information out to you guys. Okay, so for the presentations, slide and the rest, I think I will get that over to you, to your lead project manager as well. So be rest assured.
Thank you.
All right, thank you everyone. See you next week.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Charles. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Charles. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.